What's up, YouTube? Brad Hoover from Rants here. Alright, so I've been away for a week. I'm finally coming back from a really bad sickness. Um, you're going to hear me cough throughout this video. That's just inevitable, guys. Going to try to drink me something every now and then to try to make it where that you can hear my voice. But today I'm going to do a Ghostbusters Afterlife review. My wife and my kids and me just got done watching it. Um, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of it. What I thought of the movie, who I thought excelled in the movie, who I thought they could have left out in the movie, whether it lived up to the old Ghostbusters movie, whether it's a good addition, or if it's better than the 2016 version of Ghostbusters, all female cast. So I'm just going to go from there. Overall, my initial reaction to it was I'm a bit disappointed. I went into this movie with high hopes, and maybe I shouldn't have. Anytime, whether it be Star Wars or any of these, 80s franchises that don't have the main characters as the main characters anymore, the main characters that you fell in love with in the originals, as the main ones, it doesn't feel the same. It loses a bit of magic. And I'm not saying this movie is bad by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I would say if you took away the name Ghostbusters in this movie and you just called it something else, I think it would be a really good movie. And unfortunately for it can never live up to what the original Ghostbusters was. Simply because it doesn't have the same cast of characters. A lot of the characters are hit and miss in this film, which is it's sad, but at the same time, like I said, it does have some really good qualities to it. Now, do I feel like this movie is a great third movie, ending movie for Ghostbusters franchise when it comes to adding on to those first two? I would probably say yes and no. I feel like this should be almost a standalone movie um, instead of actually adding it back to the first two. But then at the same time, I kind of feel like it's a nice send off to a certain bit, at least for some of the characters. Um, so I'm kind of in between on this one. But if I really truly, if I had to choose, I would say it's not a good third edition. It's a good standalone movie. It's an interesting movie as a Ghostbuster movie that is a standalone. But if you compare it to the first two, I think you're going to be sorely, sorely disappointed. It doesn't feel anything like it. I mean, the pacing in it is really bad. It's really, really bad in this movie. It really is an hour into it before really anything happens. It takes a very long time for us to get to know the characters. It takes a very long time for us to even get a sense of who the characters are. Besides McKenna Grace, who I thought was absolutely great as Egon's granddaughter in this. I thought she just killed it. She was just perfect all the way around. She had this dry humor that just went right. It went well with Paul Rudd, who was more in your face comedy. So I really truly enjoyed their relationship when it comes into this, as a teacher helping a student, basically a fanboy of Ghostbusters, helping the granddaughter of somebody that he's looked up to his entire life. I thought that was a cool little addition that they did. But where I really had a problem was with a lot of the characters. The pacing was slow, but there was a lot of characters that just really didn't mean anything to me. Trevor, who's played by Finn Wolfhard, he just he's great in Stranger Things, but I thought he was completely and totally useless in this one. They tried to give him a teen romance in it, and I just felt like it just fell flat. Like, even as a teen romance, it didn't feel believable. I didn't care about his girlfriend. I didn't care about their relationship in any form or fashion. I felt like it could have just been completely and totally wiped out. He could have been gone in this movie, and I wouldn't have had a single problem. Like you could delete every every image of him in this film, and it wouldn't change this film at all. Another one I thought was kind of bad in it. Not that the kid was bad, but because they just didn't give him enough to do, and that's podcasts. I felt like he just was there for comic relief, but really wasn't funny enough for me to care about his character, and really didn't play that much of a role as kind of like the this geeky nerdy kid that could really do a lot of amazing things. He really didn't fit that role. I felt like McKenna Grace was the only kid in here that really stepped up, and she made this movie what it was. Um, Besides that, I thought Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is Paul Rudd. I mean, you can't say anything bad about the guy. He's a great actor. He does what he does. He always does his same bit, and he does it well. He's never too overly comical. He's never, but he always brings his A game. So I enjoyed him in that movie. Like I said, my biggest problem with this movie was pacing, and a lot of the characters were completely and totally useless in a lot of ways. I felt like the story was decent enough. The story was compelling enough that it kept me interested. The whole, them moving into their grandfather's house. All these strange things happen. Totally get it. The mom kind of having this issue with her father, their grandfather about, him leaving them and the whole issues that comes along with that. I feel like that is, I felt like that was compelling enough that kept me going, but it didn't make the movie for me. Um, as far as the reminders of all the things that was Ghostbusters in it, they were decent, but again, it wasn't like every time this movie tried to like veer into its own thing, they would like bring back some kind of memorabilia, some member berries that made you realize, okay, this is Ghostbusters. I didn't necessarily like that. I kind of wished, you know what, if you're going to make this movie completely and totally different, make it completely and totally different. Give these kids their own, don't make them stepping stones for older characters. Make them their own characters. Make this movie directly about them and not bring back these member berries like they did a lot in this film. I feel like this film would be a lot better if it kind of just tried to stand on its own a little bit more and not always try to remind you that it is a Ghostbusters film. Because at the end of the day, they could say it all day long, but it didn't feel like it was a Ghostbusters film. Like I said, the plot, I can handle the plot. I was not a big fan of a lot of the characters. I felt like a lot of them you could just completely and do away with them. And the movie would have been better if not the same. As far as the cast of characters, felt like there was a lot of characters that didn't step it up. A lot of characters that didn't have any use. Um, like I said, McKenna Grace did a fabulous job. Um, I enjoyed the ending. I really enjoyed the ending. The ending, I won't spoil it, but I felt like it's a nice send off. It really kind of made me tear up a little bit. And I love that aspect about this. That's the reason, I mean, the ending makes me want to say it's a good third movie for this franchise. But then when I remember all the things before the ending, I'm like, no, it should be like a standalone in a lot of different ways. I appreciate the idea that they were trying to do something new with Ghostbusters. Um, but at the end of the day, and I know fans don't always want to hear this, but I feel like this needs like a hard reboot. Yes, I get it. We love Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, and so forth, but at the end of the day, maybe recast those characters and, start again with that, because I don't think, they made an all female cast and then they made an almost all kid cast. Um, I feel like they're just spinning their wheels at this point. They're running out of ideas about what to do. And I feel like Ghostbusters still has a lot of life in it. Maybe go Ghostbusters Extreme or something along those lines if you don't want to replace the old characters. But don't do this again. Don't make a second one off of this one. And, just try something that actually fans, there's characters that fans know and love. Whether you're not having to spend an hour of the fans' times uh, trying to catch them up on who this character is and what they stand for and so forth, where they fit into the movie. I feel like this movie would have been a lot better if we could have gone into it knowing the characters firsthand and just going from there. If y'all wanted to do an older Ghostbusters with Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray, go for it. If you want to go that route, I'm up for that. But I'm not up for, another kid movie. I'm not up for an all female cast movie. I'm not up for those things. The only thing that I would be for is a Ghostbusters Extreme movie, and that would be it. Besides, just just do a hard reboot. Overall, I would give this movie probably about a 6 out of 10. It's not bad, but it's not great. Um, it's kind of eh. It's one of those movies. But as far as expectations is concerned, I'm very disappointed in what I saw on screen. And maybe I went into it with too much expectations and I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have realized that, or take it for what it is, and maybe saw that if it lived up to those standards just as a movie, instead of me just going into it thinking, it was going to be better than what it really was. But anyways, guys, that's my review for it. Um, I would definitely go. I would definitely recommend seeing this movie if you're a Ghostbusters fan. I would even go so far as say if you're just wanting to watch a decent movie, this movie's good enough for it. Really, truly is. But I just feel like overall, as a hardcore Ghostbusters fan, I feel like this movie really let me down, except for the ending of it. That's just the way I feel towards it. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know. And as always, thanks for watching. And y'all take care.